let's get into this thing. So we only have three of us here. One of us might be showing up later.
And I still have my volume on. Awesome.
MaliceCast Live, the All Things Nerd podcast, season 2, episode 37. Tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about Dark Phoenix because it's what's on everybody's mind, apparently, since the trailer came out. Now there's just all this types of stuff going on with it. We also are going to be talking about some updates to what we were talking about with cross platforms. Somebody took a double take and decided to join the party, and what was the last thing we were going to talk about? We were going to talk about something else and some weird news because, you know, somebody's got to talk about it. So stay tuned for the cast. Sit back, join us in the chat room, and let us know your thoughts on all things nerd. So, hello to all the Geek enthusiasts, nerd aficionados. Mess 5150 here with MaliceCast Live, Season 2, Episode 37. The All Things Nerd podcast is brought to you by Malice Corp, malice-corp.com. You can see it written there below on the screen. You can follow all of our different podcasts that we do on the different Twitter handles that you'll see written up above on the screen as well. Thank you for coming and joining us for this cast. As always, you have me, Mess 5150, talking all things nerd with you guys. We're a little short-handed today, but we've got a couple other people here to talk all things nerd, and you can talk all things nerd with us in the chat room as well and let us know what your thoughts are on the different topics we'll be talking about. Joining me on the cast as well, we have IC Zorro. How goes it, sir?
Fantastic. Just got home from LA. It was a fun but small trip. I don't ever want to go to the Coliseum again.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that the Coliseum is what you would call a little rundown. Yeah, so we're just waiting for that new out here in LA for that new wonderful stadium to open. That new state of the art amazing thing.
Excellent street food outside though.
Yeah, it's LA. Of course there is. Also joining us on the cast, we have our female persuasion super Hoovian freak. How goes it, super?
It's not bad. It's not bad. Been a slow week, but that's okay. Got a lot done. Got a lot started. So hopefully only good things from here.
This is going to get really interesting as I click on everybody's face when I have them talking. So, this is the interesting cast. Okay, so we'd like to start this cast out talking about what everybody's been geeking out on, what you've been nerding out on, what has been tickling your pop culture nerdy geeky fancy. Me, myself, personally, I was over on our one of our other podcasts, the Nerd Mosh Pit, with the Big Papa Matt and Nick a couple weeks ago. Their most recent episode is on Stitcher and iTunes, and it is over at malice-corp.com. So if you want to listen to that, drop a 5-star review, subscribe for other episodes, definitely go over and do that. But what came up in the conversation was Better Call Saul, and the precursor to Better Call Saul, which I think actually takes place afterwards, but is Breaking Bad. And
yeah, I agree with them.
It came out that I haven't watched Breaking Bad due to the factor that there's so much stuff on my plate that I haven't, and I felt bad. I felt really bad about yeah.
You're a bad person.
I just felt dirty not saying that I haven't watched it. So over the last day, I have been binge watching Breaking Bad. Got through season 1. I'm into season 2 now. I'm trying to pull my best Beacon binge master aficionado to watch as much of this as I can and get it just out of the way. And it's a good show. Here's the biggest thing. I didn't realize there was as much comedy in it as I mean, it looked like it was going to be super, super serious, and all the amount of laughable things is what's kind of cool about it. Now, the other thing that I found out is I know Aaron Jones won quite a few Emmys for it. Aaron Paul. I know he won quite a few Emmys for it, but at the same time, I can see why he didn't do well with any of the other projects he went into, because he does that role so well. He does horrible on all the other things that he tries to do. That race car movie he did and stuff. It just
that was a terrible concept for a movie.
I think he's just typecast into
Need for Speed. In fact, I think it was called Need for Speed.
It may have been. So that's what I've been geeking out on. I see. What have you been geeking out on?
A couple of different things. I actually I binged 2 entire Netflix seasons of new shows that I'd never seen before on my couple of days off. Yeah, when you have days off in the middle of the week, nobody else is really available to hang out or do anything, so you just sit down and end up watching like 10 hours of TV. The new show with Jonah Hill and Emma Stone, Maniac, is really weird and really good.
Okay, so it is good because I've heard
yeah.
mixed reviews with it.
No, once you get past the first like episode and a half, 2 episodes where it's like all the weird setup, because when you're building 10 episodes at a time, you can create that long arc from start to finish. Once you get past once they get into the actual main setup of the show, it's really good. Jonah Hill deserves every nomination that he's ever gotten. That dude can act like crazy.
He can. He's actually a very underrated actor.
Yeah. And he ends up playing, I think, like 5 different characters throughout the 10 episode arc. A lot of it takes place inside their own minds and stuff. It's really weird, but definitely worth watching. The last episode and a half had me.
Apparently, Red really likes it.
It was getting a little dusty in my apartment. Let's just say that.
Yeah, we have a dual dose of Pride9 is Red Meepaw. So welcome into the chat room. She says that Maniac is based on a Norwegian show. So
well, that explains one of the characters that Jonah Hill does towards the end, snoring, which is friggin' hilarious. And then the second one that I binged was The Good Cop, which sounds super generic, but it does. It's Josh Groban as the lead, like a straight-laced detective, and his dad, the singer, Josh Groban. Yes, it's really weird seeing him act. Then his dad is the ex-cop, ex-felon who is like a dirty cop, played by Tony Danza.
Oh my god!
And it's your basic, like it feels kind of like your basic procedural, but with a long arc, and it's friggin' funny.
How well is the Groban acting though? I mean, I would.
It was decent.
I've seen him be comedic, and he pulls off some comedic skits pretty well. So
it was better than when he was on Glee so many years ago.
Okay. And Super, what have you been geeking out on?
A couple things. One, rewatching again, catching up on old episodes of Castle, and then interspersing that with more Iron Fist season 2, which is still really good. But just recatching up. I mean, it's one of the things you do when you're looking for work. You just watch old TV shows that you miss and never have time to sit down and rewatch. So I forgot. I know I see you watch the show. I just watched the episode where Montgomery dies.
Oh, that was a heartbreaker.
Brutal. It's just as brutal now than it was whenever it aired. 7-8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just like, that was so sad. And then we've been doing Battle for Azeroth all day. Me, Red, and Pride, and we were looking for a specific mount, and it's a puzzle quest, and we all learned a few new curse words today. I've decided that I hate light puzzles, so whoever designed that puzzle can get kicked in the nads. And then we were doing a maze where we had to find. It literally was called like the Hall of Endless Torment or something like that. I don't know if that's really the name.
Is it the water temple from the N64 Zelda or GameCube Zelda?
Exactly. Yeah. And you had to find the room that had a certain colored torch, and then you had to find a room that had that torch's disc where you could put the torch, and you had to do that 5 times with 5 different colors. And needless to say, I think it took Red Meepaw about 4 hours to find everything. But finally, it's done. We got the mount, and we can all rejoice.
600 rooms, she says.
600 rooms. Oh my god. Oh, she's not even done.
Far.
I thought he was done.
Well,
but
she
apparently
said
still on the blue torch. I got really lucky. Apparently, I don't know what I did, but I went into 50 rooms and I found everything. And I'm like, okay, I'm done.
We have in caps, it is not done. 640.
So Blizzard has decided, look, if you're going to be giving us a certain amount of money each month, we're going to make you pay for it.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I was just like, I don't know what I did, but I went in 50 rooms. I was like, oh, look, I got all my colors. And she was just like, oh, okay, that's nice. That's good. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
So
somebody when they're
needless to
first
say,
playing
I'm
poker sits
assuming
down and
that's
just gets a full house.
what Prydine and Red Meepaw have been geeking out on in the chat room. So
Safe to say.
that would be my safe to say. Okay, so let's get into what we're here for. We're here for the nerd news. We're here for the geek news, the pop culture news. The big stories, the things everybody's talking about, which apparently is Dark Phoenix. So, yeah. So James Corden, on Wednesday night released the Dark Phoenix trailer on his show, or in between on a commercial break on his show, and we got the first full look at what we can expect from the Dark Phoenix. Really, really curious. I want to know what guys for your thoughts are first before I give my little tidbits on just on the trailer, and then we'll go dive into other things that have come out in the news towards this. But what do we think of the trailer?
Well, I read some of the articles that we were going to be discussing before watching the trailer, so I think that may have colored it a little bit. But it doesn't look great. It looks like exactly what we've done with this story already in the previous iteration of, Dark Phoenix. I'm not looking forward to it based on that trailer.
I'm still looking forward to it, but it felt flat. The trailer felt really I felt like it was more about Professor X and his mistake in quotations than it was about the Dark Phoenix, because that's all the trailer kept saying was, this is your fault, Charles. Everything's your fault, Charles. You did this, Charles. What were you thinking, Charles? And I'm like, I'm sorry, is this a movie called What Were You Thinking, Charles? Or is this a movie about the Dark Phoenix and her
You're
past?
a bad man, Charlie Xavier.
And welcome Beacon to the chat, which we know he won't have anything to give us on trailers, because while he watches almost 100 movies, he is on path. And if you guys have not checked out the podcast Quest for 100, you can find their Twitter handle here written above at Quest for Movies. Check out Beacon and the Big Papa Matt trying to watch 100 films in a calendar year. I think Beacon's going to do it. I don't know if the Big Papa Matt will do it, but they stay far away from trailers, so not to give away anything. So I'm sure he hasn't watched the Dark Phoenix trailer.
Curious how they do that. Do they show up exactly 20 minutes after the start time for the movie is supposed to be? Because that's when the trailers end.
I think they're just on. I think they're probably on their phone texting with us in the messenger about what's going on.
Their fingers there going la 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 la.
I'm looking away. Popcorn.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Not touching. Can't get mad.
But I mean, isn't that and welcome Whiskey Gamer into the chat room. Been a while. Haven't seen you. Welcome. Did you watch the Dark Phoenix trailer? What were your thoughts on it, Whiskey Gamer? Wasn't that kind of what they gave us with the horrific movie that they wrote out of existence with Xmen 3? That it was your fault, Charles. It was kind of.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was confused about too, because I'm like, I thought in that movie the whole point of the mistake that he made was the fact that she never knew anything about that whole point in her life. This movie now makes it seem like, okay, so you're going to rewrite the canon, you're going to redo that, that's fine. But then it's like suddenly she's aware of all of this and is making the choice to go down the dark path, as opposed to it being sprung upon her because she didn't know the power that she had.
Right.
So it's confusing.
Yeah, because previously they've said, well, we're going to go back and fix some of the mistakes that were made in X3. But from what I've seen and from what I've read, it looks like they're doing pretty much the exact same thing, except she knows earlier.
Yeah, exactly. And then in this one, the only difference in this one is that Mystique is on their side, because in the first three, Mystique was with Magneto. But now Mystique is here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The thing I found poignant about it was the song choice, the using the Doors song.
This is the end.
Yeah, and that's where I was like kind of curious, is did they choose that song specifically for this? Technically probably is the end in terms of the Fox Xmen.
That's kind of what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, possibly.
Because that's if they did it that way, I'm like, that's kind of just perfect the way that they figured that out. I mean, you're still gonna get New Mutants coming out after,
Yeah.
but yeah, if they chose that for this and I know probably the whole thing that they're trying to go like, this is the end, this is the Dark Phoenix. The Dark Phoenix destroys all, and I
Yeah.
I was really hyped when we got Days of Future Past. Avenger Apocalypse did not hype me at all, and this is
No. But even the second one of the Days of Future Past series was pretty good. That was the I can't remember the name, but the second one was good.
The second one was good. I even liked Apocalypse. Was it the best movie ever? No, but it was still better than X3. If you're looking at 1, 2, 3, I mean,
A lot of home movies are better than
I
X3.
liked them bringing in, what was her name? Was it Psylocke or Jubilee? It was Psylocke, right?
on the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was-
I
yeah.
like, even though I thought her character could have been a little bit better developed, I like the inclusion
though
of that character. Like,
Despise that casting.
Olivia Munn.
Yes, I don't want to see her in movies anymore. Don't want to see her in movies. And I've
Yeah.
seen the way that she reacts, on stages and in interviews and stuff. I don't like her in movies. I don't.
Yeah.
Not at least
I'd
movies.
rather-
Keep her out of my geek movies. Keep her out of my geek movies. She's in Predator.
If we had to pick
as
somebody
well.
from G4, I'd rather they have gone with Kevin Pereira. Just picture him in that outfit.
yeah.
Playing the Dark Phoenix is because Red Meatpaw asks, or Prydine asks.
Oh yeah, Sansa.
Sansa Stark.
Yeah, she doesn't watch Game of Thrones though, but her name is
remember her
Sophie
name.
Turner or Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner.
Yeah.
Sophie
so
Turner.
that's
And
who's playing.
Sophie is not a bad actress. She's really not a bad actress. She's a decent actress. She did fine in the first movies, and this is one of my favorite characters, the Phoenix and Jean Grey, and so I'm really hoping that it does well. But man, that trailer just left me flat.
Yeah.
It really did leave me flat.
Well, and some of the articles that we had for researching this topic, there's the guy that was talking about how he'd seen, a pre-screen, pre all the CGI being done and all that stuff. He said there's a lot of stuff they can fix and post, but what he said was that he felt that they couldn't fix the fact that it was just boring.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I don't know what they can fix in reshoots or any of that stuff, but hopefully they can make some changes and make it a better movie than what people are saying so far. Because right now I'm not excited.
Well, that's kind of what I got from the trailer. It seemed boring. Nothing was like.
I wasn't
the New Mutants trailer. I was like, this looks awesome. This looks rad. And then they went
Yeah.
and did reshoots and stuff like that. But this trailer, it wasn't. It kind of goes back to what Whiskey Gamer was saying in the chat before. If I can find this again, sometimes. He says, sometimes I feel like a movie is good and they keep that arc going too long, and I feel like this one needs to end and remain great. So
That could be what they're going for. That could be this is the end or whatever. I am gonna say though, I'm hoping that the girl that plays young Jean, the little girl, I've seen her in some other things, and I really like her as an actress. I watched the originals because I was really bored, which was the spinoff of the Vampire Diaries, which I didn't watch. So why I watched the originals, I'm not quite sure, but it's Netflix. It happens.
Because sexy vampires.
Exactly. But they, it's just weird to watch the spinoff, but not the parent show. But she played a young vampire werewolf witch hybrid, right? Really weird. But she killed the role. She was like the best thing of the show. Yeah. And so I'm really hoping that this could be a launch for that young actress into better things, because I think she's enormously talented for only being like 9 years old.
Right on.
And our producer has chimed in. He is safe.
Yay.
And he is okay. He was asleep.
Good.
I'm just hoping if this really is the final of the Fox Xmen universe, I hope maybe they can kind of fold it into MCU at some point. That'd be pretty good.
I would like to see them do that. One thing that I didn't let you guys know about details wise that came out, there was news that came out about what we know about the DC streaming service so far, and that 2019 it's launching. But they talked about some of the new shows that were coming, but they reiterated that no R-rated films or more adult films will be on the DC streaming service, which means Deadpool is not going to pop up on the DC streaming service at any point if that's the case. So I know they're going to keep making Deadpool, and they said they're going to keep Deadpool in. They're not going to bring him down to a PG-13 film, but it doesn't bode well for trying to pull some of these characters from this universe into the
DC's,
MCU.
But Deadpool's Marvel.
The Disney streaming service, not DC.
Oh, okay, got you.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, so because Disney streaming service launches next year, so they were giving us some details on that.
Yeah, the Disney brand is not exactly R-rated.
Well, you got to keep
For
in
the most
mind
part.
they used to own Miramax, they owned Touchstone, so they had those films that covered the R-rated slate. Now they own Fox, so I'm assuming that's how they're going to do it. Is they're going to run all of their R-rated films through Fox, but it won't transfer over to the Disney streaming service. Maybe it'll still partner up with Netflix. Maybe it'll go to Hulu, because I think they own actually a portion of Hulu now with the purchase that they did. Because all the Fox shows end up on Hulu, and stay on Hulu. So that's I don't know. I know we're gonna get mutants into the MCU. I just don't know. I'm assuming they're just going to recast everything, to the point that I think they'll recast Hugh Jackman as well. I think we'll end up with a new Wolverine.
Well, we end up with a Wolverine that's the correct height this time.
Who knows?
So, Sonamaku says they make Pirates of the Caribbean, and those are always rated R.
Oh, oh.
And then he says, "Pirate pun, I'm out."
Yep, good. That one hurt.
Oh God! Oh,
That would hurt my soul.
that's what we get Sonamaku in the chat room for. So, and is that Pride Eye saying it as "Hey there"?
Yes.
Or just "Hey there"?
There's really no way to type that.
All right, we're on a gaming platform. We Twitch is where most people go to stream their games and let people watch them play their video games, which they won't be able to watch them playing The Walking Dead by Telltale because they went under, and yeah, that sucks. And that's another little bit of news that came out too, is that not only did they go under, and you're not getting Stranger Things, the video game, and you're not getting the sequel to Wolf Among Us, but the Walking Dead video game that has 2 chapters of it out so far for the final season of it, they pulled the game completely, so people can't even finish that because Telltale went bankrupt. It had to fire a bunch of its people, and there was some infighting and people taking money that they weren't supposed to be taking, and yeah, so we're not going to go into that. I just threw that little tidbit in there because we're talking about games. I was trying to use this as a jumping off point for one thing that we talked about a few weeks ago, which was cross-platform gaming. And we discussed about how Xbox was telling PlayStation that they weren't listening to the gamers. They weren't going cross-platform, and that's what gamers want. They want to be able to game with other people that are their friends and stuff and not have to worry about which platform you're on. And PlayStation's response to that was, well, we have the best gaming platform, period, so why should we go cross-platforming? And Xbox was just like, just listen to the gamers. Listen to the people that buy your product. And lo and behold, 2 weeks later, PlayStation is releasing one of the biggest games that's built for cross-platform right now. Fortnite is going cross-platform on PlayStation with Xbox. With so
as one of the first proposed ones.
Yeah.
So and I can actually kind of see the flip side now.
Okay.
I know before I argued on the Sony side saying, look, they're at the top of the heap. Why would they even bother to sully themselves with this other stuff? But at the same time, if you've got there was what, like 5 different other types of platforms that it's already cross-platform on. If yours is the one platform they can't play that game with other people on, or with a cross-platform one, then maybe they don't buy your platform. So I can kind of see how they got wrestled into it.
I think it was a factor that it became such a big thing that they kind of had to do it because it was getting talked about in different news media outlets and stuff. And the funny thing I found is, so the head of PlayStation talked about this is the best place to game is the Sony PlayStation. Have you seen what Xbox is slogan is whenever you go to their commercials? I believe it's Xbox where gaming is the best or something like that. Like it's almost like they took the PlayStation quote to use
you didn't
it for
trademark
them.
it.
Yeah,
Now.
exactly. And I thought that was I thought that was
Xbox's,
so awesome.
Xbox's new tag on their commercials is PlayStation.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But I thought I'm like, that is really smart. Is like, so PlayStation's going to tell you one thing, and this is why they're not going to go cross-platform gaming, and Xbox is going to go, hey, it's a great slogan. We'll take that for ourselves.
Yeah, seriously. If you don't license it,
I mean, it does. I think these type of games need to be. This is what I stated last time. I think these type of games that are multiplayer games that are they should be cross-platform, and I think that PlayStation was kind of punishing its fans that like those type of games by forcing them to have to go buy another system or something like that to play with their friends if their friends didn't have PlayStation. So I'm kind of glad they did this. I don't know. Does this put your guys' thoughts? Jack Malice, Xbox slogan, second best place to play a game.
I think it's good. I think it's only gonna, help them in the long run. I think
it makes PlayStation the best place to play games, honestly, because now it's like you get the exclusives, and
well, and that's what Whiskey Gamer brings up, and this is exactly what I agree with. He says Xbox was a bad decision for him because it didn't have the best exclusives. And I agree with that. I'm a PlayStation guy from way back, but they've always had the exclusives that have, in my opinion, the best storytelling. I don't honestly play a lot of games that would be, required for, cross-platforming. You son of Maku, Xbox slogan. Remember when you all used to love Halo?
No, I don't. I never loved Halo. Screw that game.
So tonight's Twitter hashtag Xbox new slogan. Throw those out there. Tag at MaliceCast on there and let us know what the slogan should be for Xbox. We've got some great ones in here. We got Jack Malice, our producer extraordinary, joining us in the chat room as well. So
when the Xbox One first came out, their slogan was Xbox One, online all the time, or else.
Well, I thought it was a factor of Xbox One. Don't worry, the Scorpio's coming out in 6 months.
Xbox One, we're watching you.
Get your shit and get. Oh, okay. So,
just the start of Jack's slogan, or just the start of his paragraph there, it should be tied into Saw. Xbox, do you want to play a game?
Yeah.
Brought a PS4.
Yeah.
But then you should have bought a PS4. But since you are an MS fanboy, cry about it, and maybe PS4 will break down and play with us.
Yep, it works.
Oh, it's so great. It's so great.
Sotomaku, Xbox One, you'll be the only one in the waiting room.
Let's go into a quick bit of somebody's got to talk about it. Our new thing that we have on the weekly cast, because sometimes we come across weird stories that just want to talk about but don't really fall into the same nerd categories that we talk about. We don't have Igor on the cast here with us. He brings us some fantastic ones, but I came across one that I was like, I really want to get people's opinions on this. I want to see what your thoughts are on it. So Disneyland, already super expensive to go to. they keep raising their prices to try and minimize traffic walking through the door in there, and people keep paying the prices. They limit how many annual passes that they actually give out to people. Like, there is a limit. Not everybody can buy an annual pass. They have a number of how many people a year are allowed to buy an annual pass, and if you don't fit in that number, you don't get to buy an annual pass. So it's their crowd control way of doing things. Well, their new way of crowd control, to help out with streaming people being stuck in areas and stuff, they're getting rid of seats. The benches, they're going away. They're getting rid of. They're taking out places to sit down.
I'm sorry. You wanted to sit at some point?
That makes no sense to me. That's one of the worst things that they can do, because you don't just have. I mean, what you have people with disabilities that are going there. You have people that physically.
They're on Rascals already.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. You've got people that you may not be able to get one because they only have a certain amount, or you can walk, but you just need to rest every now and again. I mean, to me, they're opening themselves up for a lawsuit.
Our chat room is so great. We've got Sorry Grandma, You Have to Stand by Whiskey Gamer and Sonamaku. Make her pay for the rascal.
Yeah. In the veins of the PS4 Xbox thing at Disneyland, California Adventure's right there, and the rides are better anyway.
Yeah, but who's to say? I think there's more seats in California Adventure, so I think those will be going pretty soon too. So
yeah, there are.
It's less crowded, and the rides are better. Hell, the food's better.
Well, they do talk about Star Wars Land like it'll be an immersive experience, like it'll be real life. Maybe there's no real chairs in Star Wars. That's what they're getting at.
You just force float.
$70 for a motor scooter. I took it this way. When you're getting rid of the seats, I think you have Pixar, which is Disney, which means you have Wall-E, which shows us the future of where people go with just floating seats and being all obese and stuff like that. I think it's a factor that Disney's like, well, you know what? We painted this picture, but we don't want to be a part of the trend to start it. So let's just get rid of seats.
I mean, is
On
there
the other hand,
that down in Disneyland? Of course there are. There's rocks, there's little gates, there's, whatever. You can always find a place, but it's not going to help your crowds. It's not. The only way to help your crowds is sell less tickets.
yeah,
That's the only way you're going to have crowd control.
I would say, on the other hand, it does make sense in certain areas. If you've ever been on there when it's super crowded, there's areas where it's just so congested that removing any little bit of obstacle is going to help ease that traffic flow a little bit.
Yeah.
I get it.
I don't
maybe in
know
a
that
few
a
areas,
bench,
but
a couple
overall,
benches, I understand it,
Well,
but
maybe not a couple benches, but if they remove all the benches in a highly traveled area, it's like adding a couple extra lanes to a freeway. That could help.
Jack has gone into Jaws with Disney and says we need a bigger park. Which to that extreme, Disney just shut down and closed the theater that's over there and ESPN Zone because they're building another hotel to make space for more places for people to stay. It's crazy. So I don't know if
Eventually they're just going to overtake all of Anaheim, and it'll still be crowded.
That's what I gotta think.
I mean, Orlando, a good chunk of Orlando is Walt Disney World.
Bryden said, "Give out free E. coli." What?
Take out the food
No.
and drinks. Start beating people at the front.
There
Yeah.
is a light outbreak going on, but that's a different,
Whiskey Gamer says, maybe Thanos was onto something.
To me, there's other things that they could do that would be more efficient than removing all of your benches.
Jack says, no loss there. Take Anaheim. No one will miss it. That's just because he's a Dodgers fan.
Yep.
But that was our, news. Somebody's got to talk about it. We had one more story that we wanted to tackle that I can't remember what it was.
Kathleen Kennedy.
That's what it was. We talked about this a few months ago when all the news with Solo happened, where it was like, she's destroying the Star Wars universe. They're going to can her. She's having these private meetings. They're going to get rid of her.
Yeah,
Nope.
Oh my God, Solo only made $400 million. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, they re-upped. They re-upped with her. She it's 3 years, new 3-year contract with Disney, to continue running Lucasfilms.
but with a shift in focus.
Okay. So what?
Uh,
what
According to the article that we read here,
and this was from
it's
Hollywood
basically
Reporter. So thank you for
yeah.
their.
So it's going to be that she's not focusing so much on movies. They're going to slow down production on movies a bit so that they're not oversaturating the market, which I think they have been doing. But it's
Yes.
going to be more television shows and peripheral characters and stuff, expanding the universe in different ways other than,
And I'm on the same
chapter
boat. The
movies.
chat room is going. Who? Jack's like, who really thought this? Whiskey says I'm happy for her. Who? Super. You said the same. I'm on that same boat with them. But that's the ones that thought this. The internet. The internet thought this. The internet was just slamming it that this is what was going to happen. They were so mad at the last Star Wars, and Solo made not enough money that she's out. They're going to get rid of her. And I am happy for her. I just, do you think that what we were talking about before, where we were like, she kind of needs a partner in crime to not do
It's
everything
never
on
bad
her
to
own?
have a it's never bad to have a what's the word I'm looking for? Mitigating force, someone to bounce ideas off of.
Yeah.
Um, where she's the ultimate, like I don't want to say ruler, but she's the ultimate decision maker. But to have someone there to kind of counterbalance is never a bad thing.
Well, because that's what I was saying. Dave Filoni, I thought would have been a fantastic partner in crime who did the Rebels show and Clone Wars and stuff. I think having him kind of splitting off, but I think with the way that they're figuring out that it's like we did too much too fast, and so we're gonna pull back. I think this strengthens her, how well of a project she can put out, because now she's not focusing on so many things at once. I mean, do you think that's kind of the better route to go?
Yeah. I mean, have her take the Kevin Feige from MCU role. Have her be the overall orchestrating big plan in her head, but have other people, with their own voices in their own shows. This one says that currently they've got
I
in
didn't
the
mean it
works.
that way. Hold on, I have to say this.
What was
Jack Malice says sarcasm. LOL. She needs a man to explain how to make a really Star Wars movie. Sarcasm. No, I did not mean it that way.
Yeah. No, I knew what you meant.
I meant taking somebody that's already proven they know how to create an entire universe within this universe and do well with it.
Yeah, no, have her be the puppet master, but have other people running the individual projects.
Yeah.
Like I said,
that wouldn't be a bad idea either. And I do agree with Whiskey that there are some people, no one in this particular area right here, but they almost feel like if you like anything outside the original three, you're a bad Star Wars fan because you're not pure. I don't know what the attitude is, but I mean, yeah, and the original three are probably always going to be the best. You had a magical cast. George Lucas, as brilliant as he is with the universe and whatnot, he was a terrible dialogue writer, and you had three people that came in that added, epic lines that made the dialogue work a lot better. And you don't have that in these movies now. You don't have a Harrison Ford who makes magic happen. You don't have, I mean, you had Mark Hamill, but Mark Hamill didn't have those same people to play off of. So he came across as just this angry, sullen, I don't know, it just didn't work.
He came across as
didn't work
Harrison Ford
right.
in real life.
yeah, complete with plane crashes.
The one thing I didn't notice, and to go against those people that say only the original three, it's just the original trilogy and that's it. Rogue One, I still think, is by far one of the best Star Wars films. It is great. What I didn't realize reading this article from the Hollywood Reporter, they were talking about how Lord and Miller got replaced by Ron Howard, and I think he did, with what he had to work with, he did a phenomenal job for Solo, because he had to rebuild about 75% of a film. So I think he did fantastic with it. What I didn't realize is, according to this article, that Gareth Edwards was replaced as director of Rogue One, and he still got the
keep his
credit.
name on it.
But that I didn't even know that. So looking at that, if that's true, and Hollywood Reporter is usually a pretty good source on talking about what's really going on in Hollywood. If that's true, nobody even batted an eye. Nobody even said anything about this. They just talked about how great Rogue One was, and it just shows that Kathleen Kennedy knows what she's doing, and sometimes she knows that you got to get a different vision on something because it's not hitting the way it's supposed to.
So yeah, I'll just be interested to see, series that they come out with, as rather than pushing movies all the time. If they can come out with some decent series on Disney streaming or Disney Channel or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I'm still looking forward to the show that they have, the original shows that they have coming for the Disney streaming. So, and they've said that Disney streaming is going to be relatively lower than what it costs for Netflix, which is about $8 to $14 a month. So, if that's true, to get a Disney streaming service for less than $8 a month, that's actually pretty enticing.
Wait, if it's less than $8, I'll probably sign up for it.
Yeah. It's gonna have Star Wars stuff, so I'm in.
$5. It's trying to justify another, which right now I couldn't do anyways. But
within the next 5 to 10 years, saying that you still have cable is going to be like somebody right now saying, "Oh yeah, I only have an antenna. I only watch network TV."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Jack says Empire Strikes Back is the greatest movie, followed by Rogue One, and then Solo in the order of best movies. I kind of agree with that.
I kind of agree with that. I think Solo's up there. Me personally, I liked A New Hope better than Solo. And then it's probably up there with me. I know a lot of people hate Return of the Jedi because of the Ewoks, but you know what? The Ewoks, they didn't really bother me. I mean, I understand why people hate them with the fact that they took out an army of stormtroopers. I get that, but
They're
it didn't
carnivorous teddy bears. It's awesome.
Yeah. So it's Solo and Return of the Jedi are floating right around up there, way better than episodes 1 through 3. And then 7 and 8 kind of float around as well.
Prydine says 16 hours of Barney type programming. I don't think it's going to be just, they are bringing Disney shows on there, and they are bringing, but they're bringing a new series created by Jon Favreau in the Star Wars universe. They're bringing shows using the actors that played Black Widow Scarlet Witch, doing her own series on her character with Ashley
Olsen.
Ashley Olsen.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah.
Mary-Kate and Ashley are the two twins.
And Loki getting his own, Tom Hiddleston. They're it's not just going to be this
but
kid
they're
content. Dead. yeah, we'll see. We know how time works. We'll find out when Captain Marvel comes around in Avengers 4. So we'll see who's actually really dead. We'll know out at the end of Avengers 4 who's really dead, because that's when people will actually die. So yeah, that's it. That's the new. There's more news. There's a lot more news. But I didn't send it to these guys, so they don't know what the news. There's some great things. We can post them up on the MaliceCast Facebook page, so you can see some of the articles. I know Red Meepaw sends us some articles over there. Thank you so much for that. But go check out the MaliceCast Facebook page. I'll leave. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say there was just a bunch of articles posted about the Birds of Prey coming out, the sci-fi stuff coming to Netflix, and all that good stuff coming up. Oh, Tom Hanks is Mr. Rogers. The casting photos came out.
We'll post those.
The pictures look amazing.
Go check it out. I'm gonna be blowing it up later. Shut up.
Phrasing. Right after this cast, I'm gonna be blowing it up.
Shush.
Yeah, so we're gonna go post those articles over at the Facebook page for MaliceCast. Look up MaliceCast, All Things Nerd, on Facebook, and you'll find us. And you can join in with us and talk all things nerd whenever you want to on the Facebook page, because we like to respond to the articles that people post and the pictures and whatnot and everything. You can also head over to our website, malice-corp.com. It's written down there below. That's where all of our podcast links are. You can find them on iTunes, on Stitcher, make sure to leave reviews, 5-star reviews. Let us know what you think of the different cast. Give us some insights towards it, and share it with your friends and family. We greatly appreciate that. And if you're going to Amazon, make sure to go through our website first. You still get the stuff that you're looking to get, but we get help in return so that we can try and get some better equipment to look better for you, sound better for you, and whatnot. But let's talk about where we can follow everybody outside of this live cast that we have here every single Friday on Twitch. Icy, where can we go to follow you?
At Icy Zorro on Twitter, Instagram, and PlayStation Network.
And Super?
Follow me on Twitter at SuperHoovianNut, and then you can follow me also on Instagram at SuperHoovianFreak. I've been on Twitter a lot lately, and mostly just talking about all the convention circuits coming up and interacting with people that have been going to those, so it's been a lot of fun.
Nice. You can follow any of our podcasts. They're written right there. I think I'm pointing in the right direction. I don't know. I put this thing up at the last minute. So, but yeah, they are written there to be able to check any of them out. And I'm not doing the "You Can't See Me" by John Cena. I'm pointing to the things. That's what it looks like. There's a GIF that's coming. So go check out these guys. They do some great content for you. You can follow us on YouTube, youtube.com/c/MaliceCorp. You can join us every Monday, not this last Monday, but we have a big extravaganza coming up this next Monday, talking about The Walking Dead here live on Twitch, twitch.tv/MaliceCorp at 9 p.m. on Monday. We're going to be talking about the last 3 episodes of Fear the Walking Dead before we ramp up to go into season 9 and say goodbye to Rick Andrew Lincoln in the Walking Dead starting the week after. And if you want to follow me on Twitter at @mest_MaliceCorp. Follow our producer Jack Malice on Twitter at Jack_MaliceCorp. And if you want to check out my personal vlogs, you can head over to Geek Guidepost on YouTube and watch all the different Halloween stuff that I'm doing out this season. I just went to Universal Studios, and I'm planning to go hit up Warner Brothers Studios here soon to go escape from the Joker at Arkham Asylum. With that, thank you guys so much for joining us on tonight's cast. Thank you, Talking All Things Nerd with us. Please, if you ever see an article that you want to see us talk about, drop it in the Facebook chat on MaliceCast.
Yeah, we get the Malice Corp group.
Yeah, go to MaliceCast, All Things Nerd on Facebook. Drop us an article if you want to see us talk about it. Make sure to write in there topic for discussion, and we'll look at that and see if we can squeeze it in and talk about it, and you help create this show. So you guys keep nerding on, and we will see you next Friday. Stay nerdy.
Carry on.
Peace.